Okay, on lesson 12, example 1, it says Janie took a quiz in math and a quiz in science. The math quiz was worth 20 points, and Janie earned 15 points. Her score was 15 out of 20 points. On the science quiz, which was worth 10 points, Janie earned 7 points. So her score on the science quiz was 7 out of 10. Did Janie do better on a math or a science quiz? So this is just a review question. If you look at your math quiz score, if you write that as your fraction, you can say she got 15 out of 20. That was her math. I'm going to put an M so remember that. And then her science was 7 out of 10. I'm going to put an S there. We just got to say which one is better. Well, it's a matter of just comparing your fractions. You certainly could change everything to a percent, because when you change things to a percent, you're comparing everything to 100. That's one option. Otherwise, we could just look at these and we could make the denominators the same. So you could make this bottom number 20 and figure out what the top number is. We could also multiply diagonally. So if I multiply that, I get 140. If I multiply this, I get 150. And you should be able to see that she has a 150 is bigger than 140. So her math quiz, she did better on her math quiz. On example 2, it says on an English quiz that was worth 24 points, Janie got 18 points right. How did she do on this quiz when compared to the 2 quizzes on the previous page? Can you find out what percent of the questions she got correct? So if we look at her English quiz and find out the number she got, she has 18 correct. And that would be lining up at the top where she has the part. So 18, and the whole amount of the quiz was 24. So that's her score. The question says, can you find the percent she got correct? So this is the part she got correct, so I'm going to label that with a C. So over here should be the percent she has correct. We should know that percent means out of 100. So I don't know the percent, but I do know if I change the bottom number to 100, I will have the percent. So to solve to find that missing number, you can multiply across and divide. So you can just go ahead and take 18 times 100 and then divide by 24. And you're going to get 75 for this top number. So I can see it's 75 out of 100. So when I go and look at her English score on this bottom chart, 18 out of 24, this chart says ratio of points earned to total. So that would be 18 over 24. That's the ratio. And then to change it to a percent, I can see up here it's 75%. 18 out of 24 is the same as 75 out of 100, and that's why it's equal to 75%. We do need to compare them to the other 2 quizzes. This math one was 15 out of 20. And if I need to change that to a percent, basically I'm going to change my bottom number to 100. That one's kind of mental math. I can see the bottom's getting 5 times bigger, so the top's got to get 5 times bigger. So on the math test, she has 75%. And the science is 7 out of 10. That's your ratio. To make it a percent, change that bottom number to 100. And that's getting 10 times bigger. So in science, 7 times 10 is 70%. And how did she do on this quiz compared? Basically, she tied her math score and got 75% right is the answer. So these 2 are equal. The next question, it says, on a chapter test, Janie got a grade of 80%. The test score had a total of 35 possible points. How many points did she earn on the test? So anytime you're looking at a word problem and you see a percent number, that's basically just screaming ratio, ratio, ratio. 80% means 80 out of 100. So that percent is always going to go in your circle. We're not going to go on, just like we have in a whole lesson, until we label what's the 80%. Her grade was 80%, meaning she got 80% correct. So over here, the top has to be the amount correct. The other number they give us, the total was 35. Now, on the other parts of the test, we always labeled the top and the bottom. When we do percent problems, we don't have to label the bottom if we don't want to, because the bottom is always going to be about a total. When you compare to 100%, that's always your total. So I will just avoid labeling the bottom. So total I know is 35, that's going to go on the bottom. And the question is, how many points did she get? Meaning, how many points did she get right? So I'm looking for that number. So all you have to do is you need to multiply across 35 times 80 and then divide by 100. And this x is 28 points. We want to make sure we're answering our question. Does it make sense? How many points did she earn? 28 points on a 35-point test. That sounds like that could be possible. Next question says Janie got 70% on her American history exam. She noticed she got 21 points correct. What were the total points on the test? So right away I found my ratio value. Right there when I see my percent, I know that's going to go in my circle. So she got 70%. We are not going to go on until we label it. And when I say you need a label, I do not mean label it percent. I'm asking you what's happening. 70% are what? 70% of the problems are cars, are red, are boys, are girls. So in this question, it's 70% on her exam, which is talking about how many she got correct. And so over here, this label is going to be correct. And the rest of the question says she noticed she has 21 points correct. Well, the 21 this time isn't going to go on the bottom. It's going to go on the blank that has correct. The question that should be the bottom is what's the total points? And remember how total is always your bottom number? We're looking for the total. All right, to solve this, we're just going to take 21 times 100. We're going to multiply across, and then we're going to divide by the other number, which is 70, and you're going to get 30. And we're going to see if that makes sense. If there's 30 points on a test, could she get 21 points right? She could. By the way, if you put it in the wrong spot and then you see if it makes sense, it will definitely not make sense. So you should always try that too. If you go, I don't know if it should go top or bottom, put them in both places. Only one will make sense. Janie got 18 words correct out of 20 on her spelling test. Each word was worth 1 point. What was her grade written as a percent on the spelling test? So right here, I can see there's a ratio. She got 18 out of 20. So 18 is the amount she had correct. So I'm going to label that correct. Out of 20 total. So that's going to go over here. They give us the part and the whole. And the question's saying, what's the percent? So over here, I don't know the number out of 100 because percent means out of 100. So I'm looking for this top number. And since this is correct, the label over here is the correct amount. And you're going to go ahead and multiply across. So we have 18 times 100 and divide by 20. And your answer up here is going to be a 90. But now the question says, what's the percent? You need to write 90%. If you just write the number 90 and 90% are way different numbers. So if it asks you for percent, specifically, what is the percent, make sure you have a percent sign. Next one says, on a geography map test that was worth 25 points, Janie got a grade of 20%. How many points did she earn on the geography test? Right away, I see this is like jumping out at me. That's a ratio value. 20% means 20 over 100. I'm not going to go on until I label it. It says she got a grade of 20%. Well, usually that means she got 20% correct. So that top label's correct. Over here, the label's correct. The only other number, they said the geography test was worth 25 points. So that's not how many she has correct. That's the total amount of the test. So the total goes on the bottom. And the question's asking how many points did she earn, which is another way of saying how many points are correct. So you can multiply diagonally, multiply the 25 times the 20, and then divide by 100. And you will get 5. And we're going to see if that makes sense. So her test had 25 points on it, and she got 5 right, which you might go, ooh, that's not good. but a grade of 20% is not good, so that should make sense. A City Sports salesperson sells a basketball for $25. The salesperson receives a 5% commission on the sale. How much is the commission? So commission is like when you're a salesman, you get more money with how much you sell. So the more stuff you sell, the more you'll make in a week. People that work on commission are salespeople, but specifically like car salesmen, furniture salesmen, sometimes even clothes people. When you like walk into the Buckle and you order or get some pants at the register, they'll say, "Is there anyone that helped you today?" Because if you give their name, they're going to get a percent of whatever you buy. So right away I see, oh, there's my percent number. So it's 5 out of 100. So I'm going to label that C for commission, not correct, but it's a 5% commission. So over here, that's going to be the commission. The only other number we're given is the basketball costs $25. The salesperson does not get all $25. The total price of the basketball is $25, so that means the $25's got to go on the bottom. And if you check your question, it says how much is the commission. That's what we don't know, so that's what we're trying to figure out. So to figure that out, you can go ahead and multiply across and then divide by 100. So you multiply these two numbers, 25 times 5, divide by 100, and you get 1.25. So her commission is $1.25. And if you think about it, that makes sense. $25 basketball, the company's going to make most of the money, but at least the salesman gets $1.25 of that. Next question is, two friends are comparing the commission they made for the day. Samantha received a 7% commission on $540. Ben received 10% commission on $360. Who made the most money on their commission? So we're going to do Samantha first. Samantha had 7%. So right away I see, oh, that's my ratio value. So 7% out of 100. And I'm going to label that. It's a 7% commission. So over here is going to be her commission amount. So she sold $540 worth of stuff. That's not her commission. That's her total. So this is where the 540 goes. We're trying to figure out how much money she actually gets. So that's where the X goes. So we're going to go ahead and multiply across. You're going to take 540 times 7 and then divide by 100. And you're going to get $37.80. If you think about it, if she sells $540, the company is obviously going to take the most of the money. They have to pay for the product and things like that. But $37.80 is how much she'll make. Now Ben is going to be on the next page. So we're going to remember Ben is 10% on a $360 sale. And we'll finish it on the next page. And the question says, who made the most money? So we're going to remember that she made $37.80. And Ben made 10% on $360. Okay, Ben. So remember, Ben was 10% out of 100. So percent's always over 100. That's his commission. Over here's the commission. And he sold $360 worth of stuff. So that's going to be my bottom number. That's the total sale. We have to multiply across and divide. So you're going to take 360 times 10 and then divide by 100. So Ben gets $36. And if you remember, the other girl made $37.60. So the girl, I don't remember her name, is who made the most. So her name is Samantha, I guess. So Samantha made more. Okay, this first question says, last season, Timberwolves basketball player Derek Williams scored 60% of his free throws he attempted. His free throw percentage from last year can be used to predict how he'll do this year. If he has the opportunity to shoot 20 free throws in a 3-game series, how many free throws do you expect him to make? 2, 6, 12, or 40? So we can look at if he scores 60% of the time on free throws. So we should know that that means 60 out of every 100 that he shoots are going to go in. So we have to predict if he's going to shoot only 20 shots. So I'm going to start labeling these. So he makes 60 out of 100 shots. So over here is going to be how much he makes. And we want to find out how much we expect him to make. So I don't know the top number, but the bottom is the total amount that he throws. And they say he's going to shoot 20. And so to figure out how much we think he's going to make, we're going to take 20 times 60 and divide by 100. And that answer is 12. So we would expect him to shoot 12. If he shoots better than that, then he's obviously improving his percent. If he shoots worse than that, then he's just having a really bad day. But you can use the percents to predict too. Next question says, Jennifer is on the middle school basketball team. So far this season, Jennifer has made 70% of the free throws that she has attempted. If she shoots 10 free throws in today's game, how many will she likely to make based on her past performance? So right away I see, 70%. So I'm going to write down 70 out of 100. We're going to label that this is how much she makes. She makes 70 out of every 100 she shoots. So over here is how much she makes. The only other number is she shoots 10. So we want to figure out how much she should make. We don't know that number, but the bottom number is her total shots, which would be 10. So you can go ahead and multiply across. So multiply these, and then divide by 100, and you should get 7. So far this season, Kevin's average in math class is 95%. If he's taking a math test today that has 100 questions on it, how many do you predict that he will get right based on his past performance? Well, this should be a really easy one because you can see that his average is 95%, which hopefully you know that means 95 out of 100. And the reason it's so easy is because the test has 100 questions. So you can see right in that, if it has 100 questions, you would expect him to get 95 right. Next question, Julia plays on the middle school soccer team. So far this season, she has scored a goal of 30% of the time she shot a goal. If Julia shoots 20 times in today's soccer game, how many goals do you expect her to score based on her shooting average? Right there I see my ratio statement. So I know that means 30 out of 100, and this is how much she scores. So the number over here is going to be how much she scores. The question says here she shoots 20 times. Doesn't mean she scores 20 times. The question's asking how much does she score, so that's where my X goes. But she shoots, which would be her total, would be on the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and multiply across 30 times 20 and then divide by 100. You would expect that she would score 6 times. If you think about mental math-wise, if she shoots 20 times and scores 50%, isn't that half? So 50% would mean she scored 10. So it can't be C or D. So it's got to either be A or B. Okay, last page. At a skateboarding competition, competitors were judged on both style, up to 50 points, and tricks, up to 50 points, for a total score of 100 points. The style judges gave Seidel 88% of the possible style points. The tricks judges gave him 43 out of a possible 50. What percent of the possible 100 points did he get for his entire run? So if we want to figure out how many points he got for style, so if I go back up here and look for style, it says he got 88% of style. So immediately I would write 88 out of 100. This is how many points he got for style. So this over here is going to be how many points he gets for style. And if you look up here, style is up to 50 points. So the total best he could get is 50. And we want to figure out of 50 how many points that would be. So you go ahead and you can multiply across. You can divide. Of course, we could also use some mental math if we wanted to. We can see this is getting half as big. Or dividing it by 2. You could just divide that by 2. Basically, they're going to get 44 points for style. We're going to do the same thing for, so now, to find the percent of his entire run. So style, he got 88% of the points. And right here, it says tricks gave him 43 points. So style's 44 points, and Tricks 43 points. So they basically just told us what the tricks are. So here's the style points, here's our tricks points. They want to know what is the percent out of the 100. Well, if we combine the styles and tricks, you can see he has 4 plus 3 is 7, 4 plus 4 is 8. He has 87 points out of the total 100, which is really easy to figure out what this would be then, because percent means out of 100. So obviously, you can see the bottom is staying the same, the top would stay the same. So he's getting an 87% for his entire run.